Dear my viewer of Islamic Iman TV, we are in the end of the almost, because I just, if I can, another 15 minutes to talk with you. As I mentioned, the exist of the Satan is real, and no matter what kind of person, he already made it his friends, and he come to you and then sit down to talk with you and then give you some wrong advice, wrong directions, even though you become happy, but as he has some plan. They are more, the Satan now developed, and then they do a lot of things against us. That's why Almighty Allah said, "This is your enemy," which is true. The realization of the Satan is like Prophet, peace be upon him, said, there is two kind of Satan among the human being. One is related to the demony of Satan, and one of them is the NC or human being Satan. The demony or jinn, in the way of the that come to you, of course there's both of them, both sides of us come to the person, either their son and father, or brother, or another members of the Satan, and come to the person and then give him some wrong direction. If the person himself, if he's saying "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim," that the jinni on the demon side, he go away from you. But the feature of the face of insan and the inside of Satan, he does not go from you, but also he is your relative, your friend. And whatever you say "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim" 100 times, even he stay with you, he say yeah, you are right, but he did not go from you. That was Prophet Muhammad said, if you want to know about it, when you say "A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim," look to the eyes of the person. If the eyes gaze down, because he feel shame, so, and then you have to at least to see that gave you wrong direction, don't go with him. Anyway, I'm going back to about the Satan, which Allah mentioned in the Quran, what he defined, or what he introduced the Satan. First of all, the existing of the Satan is in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which he come out as a physically. So it means it's not only the unseen, his seen kind of. Allah mentioned, but in we have yu'minuna bil ghaib. It is, we have to believe on them, whatever. In the verse of Quran, and then chapter 15, verse number 32 to 42. And I would like to recite it for you, and then after that I will translate it. Look what Allah explain about, or what is the story of this Satan between Almighty and this devil. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قال يا إبليس ما لك ألا تكون مع الساجدين قال لم أكن لأسجد لبشر خلقته من صلصال من حمأ مسنون قال فأخرج منها وإنك رجيم وإن عليك اللعنة إلى يوم الدين قال ربي فانظرني إلى يوم يبعثون قال فإنك من المنذرين إلى يوم الوقت المعلوم قال ربي بما أغويتني لأزينن لهم في الأرض ولأغوينهم أجمعين إلا عبادك منهم المخلصين قال هذا صراط علي مستقيم. صدق الله العظيم. Now I translate it, but it says Allah said to Satan at the time when he asked him to prostrate before Adam, he did not do it. And Allah, and after that, the argument start. Allah said first to Satan, "O Iblis," like this, "O Iblis, what is that you are not among the bower down for Adam?" Then he said, "It is not for me to bow down before a human being whom you created out of sounding clay, out of black mud molded into shape." Then Allah said, "Get out from us, get out from there. You are truly driven away, and upon you be indeed the condemnation after the day of judgment." Then Satan replied again, "My Rabb, in that case respite me upon to the day they arise." There was Yab'asun, raised up. Then Allah told them, "Indeed you are then of the respited ones till the day of the noon time." Again Satan said, "My Rabb, as you have left me to deviate, I shall surely make fear seeming to them in this world, and I shall cause them to deviate altogether, except your exclusive some out of them." Then he said, "This is the right path leading me to." However, this was the real story which is Quran mentioned it. Anything saying that is this come from the definition from this verse. Those who are believe in religions. However, these all explained themes are true to the believing of a point of view of Quranic verses. Second, there are also some of people, believer from Muslim even, they believe different about the Satan, that he not bow down to Adam. They have another thing because of monotheism, not from the insurgency. But I said before about the hypocrisy and disbelief. But these people saying no, is not for that. The fact is, Satan, they saying, the fact is, Satan followed the God's rule, the main God's rule, not to bow down to anyone except Allah, except Him. Therefore, he reject Allah's command. He didn't do it. It means, Allah said, you not worship anybody except me. So how about he's saying that I worship or bow down to Adam? These believers also argue in some part of some other Quranic verses too. For example, in chapter 48, verse number 10, saying, Allah mentioned it in the Quran. This is the verse of Quran. So then I think it's Surah Fatahna, Fatahna lakum fathan mubina. I think the verse number 10, there is the word saying Yadullahu fawqa aydihim, means the God's hand is top of the other hands. So which Muslim believe in one way this is verse of Quran, but at the same time say, how come Allah does not have a hand? Nothing, Allah nothing compare with anything, nothing. So laysa kamithlihi shay'un, it is Allah is alone. Then Satan, for the stress of fear of monotheism, of Tawheed, of God, he did not want to break his rule about the bowing down for somebody else except Allah only. In addition, this group, this kind of people also has another Muslim people. Muslim, they are, but high Muslim is not as a to something that very highly educated, very highly educated. They are believers strongly. I wish to be on the top of among of them, but they are much more higher. These kind of people bring such kind of reason. So group of Muslim believe about the sacrifice of Ibrahim, which is in Quran. Allah mentioned to Ibrahim, peace be upon him, go make sacrifice your son. No doubt, which is this verse of Quran. But how Allah wants to cut Ibrahim his head of his son, how come? These controversial demi in regards of the Almighty's commands were optional commands, but not compulsory commands. Allahu Alam. This is very tricky ways is over here. In one way, it is words of Quran we have to believe, and we go more about the commands of Allah. This is the person is educated in Islam. He understand that Allah has commanded compulsorily, and Allah has as a optionally. For example, we read in Quran a lot of la tuqaddimu, la yasir, la doing, don't all about la. It means the word of not doing. This is all optional. If you do, you become sin, but not become as out of Islam. A lot of law we can read in Quran, which is 100% we have to believe this is true. La yaskhar. A lot of them, but I cannot remember what verse I'll bring it to you, but this is the way, law. But another verse is compulsory, which is Allah mentioned it. لن ترضى, like لن ترضى عنك اليهود ولا النصارى حتى تتبع ملتهم. That is also command. But the law is also command. Is that when the person who is educated, they understand that Allah is when command among the Satan, that is optional was. If he could follow, it was good, but he didn't. He was silly. Like Abraham, peace be upon him, he followed. He said, yes, I do it. But what happened when he put his son for the sacrifice, and then he put it in exact practice, and then the sheep has come out, the blood is there and the smile is there. But Allah could change it, could do it, and then but only about to prove, to test